Hello, everybody, and welcome to my third of the first three podcasts that I'm taping for the premiere of my podcast, which is wow, I just had a brain fart because I was just talking to you. The Intuition Unleashed podcast, a revolution in personal liberation. And I have my amazing guest that I handpicked because I think he is totally amazing and fascinating to listen to. Please, everybody, help me to welcome Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. He told me I had to say it like that. Welcome, welcome, Barry.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Now, Beck, how can I make the categorical statement that all the thousands, tens of thousands of people that will be watching this are all good-looking? Because by definition, if they tuned in to listen to and watch your podcast on personal liberation, means they're always looking for and finding the good. That's the definition of a good-looking person. Looking for and finding the good in life. And it's always available.
Oh, and Barry is the author of the book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress and Be Happy. So he knows, he literally wrote the book on joy and happiness.
Isn't that wonderful? And actually the title, of course, is The Joy of Living. And we have a new subtitle, and it is You Deserve It. Because that's the essence of joy. It's how to live in joy under all circumstances, no matter the situation. And we'll talk about that, won't we, Beck?
Oh, for sure. So I have my 7 questions. That is the format of the podcast, 7 questions in 7 minutes. But I think, Barry and I by now both like to talk. So we will probably blow the 7 minutes completely away. But the first question is, Barry, who is your ideal client?
Who is my ideal client? The ideal client for what I do, which is to bring joy, happiness, peace, and love into the world, is someone who recognizes that he or she is living a constrained life because of stress, undue stress, Beck. Because when you understand what stress is really all about, not only can you be liberated from it, to use your idea, but you can actually learn how to use stress to your advantage. So my ideal client, if I had to take a persona, would be let's say a parent, either a single parent or a 2-parent household with stress because of money, relationships, or health. It would be a high-performing professional, of which a number come to me on a regular basis. And on paper, they look like everything is fine. And the reality of life is that the stress is truly killing them. And the third is a large group of people, mostly like myself in terms of my chronological age. I'm 74. We'll talk about age in a little bit. But people who are either in the retirement process or moving into that process, who recognize now, there is a limit to my physical life. What am I going to do with it? So those are the people that are the ideal clients.
Okay, well, that kind of also goes into the second question, which is the problems that you solve for them.
Oh, well, let's talk about it. I'll give it to you in a small dose, but it's huge when you think about it. So people have stress in their lives. Everybody has stress. Stress only comes from 3 places: money, too much or too little. People laugh when I say too much, but we all know too much money can cause a big problem. Relationships, both family, friends, and the most important relationship of all, oneself. And health. Either somebody has their own health issues, which is very common in the United States today, or somebody extremely close to them who is in the process of going through true health issues. So stress comes from only those 3 places. Now, stress is defined by Barry Shore as the acronym KING, as stomach-turning reality, enabling self-sabotage. Do you know what happened? The kids are crazy. They're not in school. They're going to school and they're acting up. My cousin committed suicide. We lost our job. We might lose the house. And the country's falling apart. That's how people are inside, or that's how they show it on the outside. That's stress. in the regular way. When you work with Barry Shore, stress becomes stomach turning reality. Yes, the kids are going crazy. Your cousin did commit suicide. You may have lost your job, may lose the house, and the country's falling apart. Enabling self-success. Self-success, how is that possible? Because when you learn and internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words in your life, you will learn how to shift. We'll talk about that in depth back, because you and I both like that shift word. You got to be careful with the F, into these 6 words. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice. How you choose to respond in any given situation will shift your destiny, whether it's self-sabotage or self-success. The choice is yours.
I think a lot of people don't feel like they have any choices.
That's exactly the point. Why do people work with Barry Shore or join the Joy of Living community, read my books, listen to what we say? And it's not just me. I bring to bear great people like Beck Nelson to share in the community and what we do. And by the way, the community is built with no barrier to entry. For the people who join in the initial first year, it's $10 a month. It's a lifetime. If you join in the first year, it's $10 a month lifetime. And that gets you access to so many wonderful things like Barry Shore on a regular basis every month. And I even do a twice weekly phone call and such. But to give people hope, you just said, people feel like they don't have the ability to choose. Well, what we do is we bring hope. Hope stands for helping others progress every day. When you learn that every single day is unfolding the greatness of you, it takes some time before you recognize, yes, I can choose how to respond. When that person who's very close to me attacks me verbally, and sometimes they don't mean it, but I can choose to respond. In that moment, I recognize the person's having a difficulty. I don't have to answer back. And when you don't answer back, you don't escalate. Isn't that wonderful, Beck? How you choose to respond.
You are empowering.
That's exactly the word. I love Beck because she gets right to it. She cuts through all the BS, which are my initials, Barry Shift. But with the F, you got to be careful with the F. We'll talk about that in depth.
Okay, so you kind of get into the third question. What are the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to solve that problem?
I have found over more than 4 decades of working with people that the 2 or 3 most common mistakes are, number one, that you're right. People feel that they don't have the power to choose. And that brings us to the second issue. And this is the most powerful, empowering 2 words you will ever hear and learn about. And they are self-talk. Self-talk. The most important speech, Becca is shaking her head. If you're watching this, she's shaking her head. And if you're listening, I'm telling you, she's shaking her head, yes. Self-talk, the most important words you'll ever hear. It doesn't matter what you hear from the internet, from the television, from the radio, from other people. Yes, those oftentimes are negative influences unless you live in a world like Barry Shore, where everything is growing up roses and buttercups. Okay, that's takes time to even think about that. But self-talk stands for the following, Beck. Self has 2 levels, as you know, better than most. There's what we call the lower self and the higher self. The lower self stands for seeking excitement, losing focus. It's called SOS, shiny object syndrome, right? Yeah, what's next? What's going on? Oh, yeah, let's go. Well, we barbecue today. We're going to this game tonight. They're doing this, doing that. It's that seeking excitement. And that happens to lose focus because you don't have a goal. And when you're out of focus, you're missing something. What are you missing? The ability to have focus, what I call shift. And 97, by the way, in 4 decades of working with people, 97.2% of all people, when they first hear shift, they drop the F and the other stuff happens, what you wrote your book about. You're going to be effing careful with your Fs. It's shift perspective. It's a little bit of a shift, but FOMO. People think What do you think FOMO is? Fear of missing out. I have been able to help people to understand that it's called focus on missing out. When you focus on missing out, you're no longer that shiny object syndrome and moving over there and what's going on. And you move from SOS or shiny object, always looking for something new, to understand that it's service over self. That pushes you like a rocket into the higher self. What's higher self? Recognizing that you're a soul experiencing life fully. And here comes the talk part. Teaching always love and kindness. Self-talk. You're a soul experiencing life fully, teaching always love and kindness to the most powerful, positive, purposeful, pleasant person in your life. You. Y-O-U. And it's important for me to say it right now, Beck. I'm deeply humbled and honored that you invited me. We have a nice relationship. We enjoy each other's company and we share some great outlooks together. This show is not about Barry Shore, wonderful fellow that he is, or even about Beck Nelson, amazing woman that she is. This is about you, Y-O-U. It's about you becoming the best you possible. That's why Beck put this together. That's why she invited me. It's about you, because when you use the 3 fundamentals of life, which we'll talk about in a moment, you become happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? So the mistakes that people make is they think they're not empowered to choose. They don't use the self-talk, higher level self-talk, to recognize what they're doing to bring love and kindness to their very being. And the third thing is they just haven't discovered Barry Shore yet. But when they do, oh, shift.
Well, that's why we're here, right? We're introducing Barry to some people not previously been introduced. Well, I know that you have several resources that you personally are bringing into the world that we can talk about too at the end. But what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them with the issues that you've already talked about?
So I want to focus on one word that Beck Nelson, that intuitive, inspiring being, just mentioned, and it's the word action. So yes, we're going to offer a no-cost free gift. Of the thousands and tens of thousands of people who listen to this, 2 or 3% will do what's needed to separate themselves and declare themselves winners. And that is action. See, to have, oh, wow, he's giving this free gift, there's no cost gift, which is a copy of my book, my ebook. It sells for $14.95. It's yours, absolutely no cost. Just go to www, which stands for What a Wonderful World, barryshore.com/ebook. And Beck, I'm sure, is going to put it down someplace people can see it. But go to Barry Shore, barryshore.com/ebook. And now get the book. Now that shows that you're a winner, because you'll only be 2 or 3% of people who take action. Everybody else say, yeah, I'd like to do that. But if you wait until and say, I'll do it later, Beck, later is the first step to never. So take action. You heard her say it, take action. Do it now. Even while I'm talking, you can do it. Go to barryshore.com/ebook. Get the book. It's a wonderful couple, Beck, that is underwriting the distribution of 100,000 copies of the book. Wow. They're paying $1 million+ to have the book. Now, when you get the book, what do? Begin to read it. You don't have to read it all at once. Matter of fact, I urge you not to. Read a few pages every day for a couple of weeks, and you'll see the book is not information, it's transformation. See, this is an important point, Beck, I'd like to make, if I may, at this moment, and we'll talk about it again. People tune into podcasts and such. Oftentimes, I think crime podcasts are very popular these days. Ongoing series, it's like my mother, God rest her soul, amazing woman. She used to listen to something called The Guiding Light on radio. I remember. You've heard of it?
Yeah.
It was, first of all, it was very big in New England, probably nationwide, but she listened. She was a dedicated listener for years. It was always on. It was a half hour, and it was, it was a story, just like stories all the time, going back thousands of years, but it was on the radio. Well, podcasts are no different. These things about crime and people. It's a new version of the guiding light. Nothing new under the sun, right? But what is the point is that if it's either informational, like getting things, gee, well, I didn't know that before, that's good. Or you're doing, just I need to relax, so I'm going to listen to something, just relax my mind. But really what you want in life is transformation. That's what you really want. You want to shift out of the place where you can't choose, I can't choose, and liberate. Oh, shift.
I'm going to have to incorporate that into my wording here for the liberation. But what I love about your book, if we can go back to that for a second, is that you said you don't have to read it all at once. In fact, you'd encourage somebody not to. And that's because you have some beautiful journaling spaces in your book as well.
Thank you.
To incorporate that into your life for that transformation, to be able to change your thinking patterns. I love that. So you actually just talked about two questions, which is a free action that people can take and then a free resource. So not only is the resource is your ebook, but the action is to be able to incorporate that by following the footsteps of what you've laid out in your book.
Yes. Thank you.
To support that. The question 6 is one question that I should have asked you that would be of great value to your audience, but there's more questions that I'm going to ask you afterwards. But anything that is a value to your audience that I should be asking you about?
Yes, I believe so. And that is, people hear my voice. Wow, listen to this guy. He's so upbeat. Well, that's because it's easy for him. He's handsome and he's rich and everything works perfectly well for him. It's easy for him. But if he knew my situation, he would be, oh my gosh, well, let's do a story and let's answer your question first. So the question that you should ask me that you didn't, or you could have asked me is, Barry, do you ever have a bad day? And the simple answer is, you ready for this? No, never. Well, let's take never, and not since the age of 14. So that's 60 plus years. I've never had a bad day. Now, wait a minute. That doesn't sound human. Oh, I am human. I'll tell you why I say it. Have I ever had difficult hours? Yes. Hello, we're human. Difficult experiences? Yes. What we're talking about here is somebody who, let's say, gets up in the morning, everything's moving along fine, walks out, get ready, going to an important meeting, hits the garage door of the car, opens up, goes in the car, starts it up, but the battery goes tick, 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 tick. Battery is gone. Ah! So what do you do at that point? Well, you call the AAA or this or that, whatever you need to get done. But here's the question. Are you going to let that ruin your entire day? Okay, it's a tough situation. Maybe you won't meet the important meeting. You won't make it. Something happened. I mean, whatever it is disruptive. Is that going to change your whole day? Are you going to, let's say, go into a place later? I mean, that you're human, but you're not just human. You're powerful. You're positive. You're purposeful. You're pleasant. Okay, it was a tough situation. It may have cost you a lot of money. Going to ruin your day. Going to ruin your life. Hello, Barry, you ever had a bad day? No. If I had tough stuff, yes. Should I tell a tough story, Beck, or we don't have time?
Oh gosh, no, this is one of the reasons I have you on here, because I'm listening to you say this and I know your story, and to have you say that you've never had a tough day, oof, that is a shift, because I know that when a lot of people hear your story, they're going to say, okay, right? Because a lot of people are thinking, Barry, you don't know this. You don't know my story.
Right.
If you heard my story, then you would agree that I have but they don't know your story.
So again, this is not to say, gee, my story is more difficult than yours. This is just to say, I'm a guy. This is what I do. And I've been blessed many times with understanding because of great mentors when I was younger, wonderful role models, and stuff that I've been through. I'll give you an example. Imagine if you can, standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that evening, being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed, not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury, a rare disease which I never heard of the day before, took over my body and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic, completely paralyzed from my neck down. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes overnight. And I was 144 days in the hospital, totally paralyzed. 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home, couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in the wheelchair. I had braces from both my legs, from my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today, Beck, I am vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. And by the way, it's all because of one word. One word. And that word is smile. Because SMILE is an acronym that stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. That's what you can do. Thank God I'm no longer in a hospital bed, unable to turn over. Thank God I'm not in the wheelchair. Thank God I am somewhat vertical and ambulatory. I can actually sit up and put my feet over the edge of the bed. Still takes me 10 minutes to get out of bed in the morning, but guess what, Beck? I get out of bed. I couldn't do that for years. And I've used this amazing ability to have gone through total paralysis to share with everybody. You can. You can. You can. By the way, SHARE is a wonderful acronym that stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. Everybody is fighting a battle you know nothing about. We have a card that reads that on the front. And on the back, I've sent these to Beck, right, Beck?
That's
on the
right.
back of the card, it reads, be kind, always. Everybody has a story. Everybody has stuff, sometimes deep stuff, real stuff, tough stuff. How do you choose to respond to it? That's the key. Because when you choose to use the 3 fundamentals of life, number 1 fundamental, life, your life is purpose. Number 2, good number 2, when you live a purpose-driven life, you go mad. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym. It stands for make a difference. Everybody can make a difference in life. And the third is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms, like smile, like www, what a wonderful world. The ability to smile is so vital to living life to the full. But I got to tell you, great story. A couple of weeks ago, my 8-year-old niece comes over to me back and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile? SMIEL. I thought about it. Smile, sounds the same. Why not? I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old.
I like her.
But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a great acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel rethinking. That is all of what Beck is about. This is personal liberation and starts with your mind. When you shift just a little bit, just shift. That means wherever you're standing, by the way, I can't stand still. You hear this, everybody? I can't just stand on my 2 legs and stand still. I need my walking wand or I have to lean against something. So be happy you can stand still. But wherever you are, move your right foot 6 inches to the right. Then move your left foot to middle. You just shifted your whole perspective. That's what shift is all about. You can do it. Everybody can do it.
Your story is amazing. And I think after people hear that, they kind of say, okay, you gave an example of starting a car and a battery's dead. Okay, you have a much bigger example, right? And if Barry can do it, other people can do it. Now, you said you're 74. How old were you when this happened?
Oh, good. Let's talk about age.
Okay.
So I want to urge everybody to understand something. And that is that every single being over what I call the age of 25 chronologically exists with 4 ages at the same time. You have your chronological age, which is me, 74. I have my metabolic age, which is 46, because I now swim. You hear this, everybody? I swim now 2 miles a day, 6 days a week, and I've been doing that for more than 13 years.
Wow.
I have over 8,900 plus miles under my belt, or under my bathing trunks, and I'm a third of the way around the world. My mental acuity is 28 because I have to work with people like Beck, who's smart, and I have to do things all the time. And my SOW is 8. SOW. Well, okay, sure. What is that? SOW, sense of wonder. I'm an 8-year-old, and you want to be somewhere between 6 and 9. You don't want to get into double digits. Below 6, too young, but between 6 and 9. If your sense of wonder in life is like that, then it doesn't matter what your chronological age is or the other. So my paralysis happened on September 17th, 2004. I was then chronologically the age of 55, double nickels, 55.
Wow. What is the name of the disease?
This disease is called Guillain-Barré syndrome. G as in George, B as in beautiful, S as in shore, GBS for the cognoscenti, if you want to look it up. It attacks the peripheral nervous system, and wow, paralysis in a matter of hours. Again, healthy in the morning, in the hospital, paralyzed at night. Never. That's a shift. Oh, shift. And some people would drop the F.
I'm sure that it took you some time to see this as an opportunity for you, or were you in that space thinking this is an opportunity for me?
Okay, Beck, that was a bit much thing. You know something, sure, I love you, but are you that crazy? Well, hello, let's call me human. Did it take a while? Yes, but may I share a story to give an illustration of something?
Please.
First of all, I want everybody to understand that, yes, I'm the ambassador of joy. Now, joy is a great acronym, a word, Joy, and it stands for Journey of You. That's what joy is about, journey of you. So then I wake up in the morning, and a doctor is at my side, and she says to me, Mr. Shore, you have something very serious. It could be fatal. May I run some tests? So blink once for no, blink twice for yes. I blinked my eyes twice. That's all I could do. I couldn't move or anything. And she asked me a few more questions. Okay, so they ran tests to find out what it is and such. They didn't really know, and find out what it is. Now, I'm in the hospital, as I said, 144 days, but within the first week or so, I was being wheeled on a gurney every day for tests and moving and trying to find out what's going on. And there was a male nurse. I remember specifically, he was with me about 3, maybe 4 days, and he's wheeling me back to my room on the gurney, and he stops in the hallway. And I could tell it was because I could only look out the window. There was about dusk or so. And he leans down and he asked me a question. He said, Mr. Shore, can I ask you a personal question? Now, at that time, I could barely speak above a whisper. I said, yes. Okay. So he leans down and he says to me, look, my specialty is working with people like you, paralyzed. I've never met anybody who's not bitter and angry. How come you're not bitter and angry? Because I wasn't. I had a smile on my face. I wasn't moving my arms and saying, hello, everybody, because I couldn't, but I was not bitter and angry. And I realized what he was doing, Beck. He was asking me the great existential question, which is, why me, God? Why did you do this to me?
I wouldn't blame you.
But that's not what I was asking. What I was asking is, why me, God? I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a person. What am I supposed to do now? I'm completely paralyzed. I was standing in the morning. I'm a nice guy. What am I supposed to do? Here's the amazing thing, Beck. At that moment, the greatest calm came over me that I've never known in 55 years. And I knew that no matter what was going to happen, something was going to be okay. I had no idea what. So no, it wasn't. I said, wow, what an opportunity. But I was completely at peace at that moment.
I think we call that faith.
Some people say, wow, right? Now,
Absolutely.
WOW, by the way, is a great acronym. It stands for Words of Wonder, Words of Wisdom, because you don't know what's going to happen and how you're going to respond. I was blessed at that moment. If he hadn't asked me that question, I would not.
Wow. That's quite a story. Can we talk a little bit about, I think you had a hint of another book coming out?
We have two new books coming out. Okay, one is the Book of Acronyms.
Oh, geez.
People hear me say, "Oh, Barry, you got all these acronyms." Well, I've over the years, it's my poetic being coming out with poetic license. So I do acronyms instead of writing lines of poetry per se. And we've accumulated now more than 500 plus acronyms, which I call the joy vocabulary, because we take ordinary words like share and smile, and we find the positive, purposeful, power, pleasant essence of them. So we published our first book, 100 acronyms. And by the way, we're going to put it also on the website, barryshore.com. And I'm hoping that it will be available at no cost in the ebook version. It's on Amazon now. I think it's $24.95, and it's wonderful. It's just coming out. People are getting it. They love it because it has words that they didn't know, like ACE, always create exuberance. Able, ABLE, always believe love exists. I mean, you do this, and it's a pocket-sized book, so you can carry it with you and just have fun at parties and share and ask people and such. And the new book, which I'm just finishing up actually as we speak, because I don't know when this is going to be posted, but God willing, by the time it is, will be available. It's called Oh Shift. And as I said, 97.2% of people drop the F and the other stuff happens. It's the ability to find yourself in circumstances and learn to say, oh, shift. First of all, say it without laughing, and then recognize that you've just made a shift. Something happened, and now you're going to shift and say, well, how do I respond? Because that's the key. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How will you respond in any given situation? Any given situation, no matter the circumstances, you can live in joy daily. Remember, joy is journey of you. It's a great journey. It's a journey, and it's wonderful. I get to be with somebody like Beck speaking about personal liberation. She is an engine of giving. She's an engine of inspiration. It's wonderful. And you're able to share in it because of her. Thank you, Beck.
Thank you.
By the way, yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask you about the membership. Sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. It's wonderful. The Joy of Living community. I urge everybody to join. The first year, $10 a month. And that's a lifetime. So if you're there with us now, 2, 3, 5 years from now, it's still only $10 a month. So join, tell your friends, be involved, because all of this and more is available to you. It's all about shift. And let's do 2 practical things if we may. You ready?
Yes.
Practical number 1, what I call practical gratitude. Everybody likes being grateful, right? Well, how do I do practical gratitude? Here's the easiest way. Learn to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now for the rest of your life. And it will help you, your family, your friends, and all living beings. The 2 most powerful words in the English language are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. To harmonize and nurture kindness. The Dalai Lama is quoted saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. As he says, always possible. How many minutes do we have more? Can we do something?
We've probably blown it away, but
Okay, we can continue because I want, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so let's do this. Imagine you walk into your coffee shop and you order a fancy latte and you sit down, somebody brings it to you. Say, thank you. Imagine you walk in the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, and a couple of minutes go by, nobody brings it. So you go to the counter and say, oh, I'm sorry, we forgot, we're busy, we'll bring it to you. And you go sit down again, and in a couple more minutes, somebody brings it. You still say, thank you, right? You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, you're late for an appointment. Somebody cuts you off. You say, thank you. You get to the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, not that other thing, thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. I can't think of anybody more inspiring for kindness than Wonderful Beck. Kind stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. That's what she does. So that's the first practical gratitude. That's
Every time
something
you
that you
said
can
thank
do.
you smiled too. Every time you
Yes.
said it. Yes.
It just 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, because we're always, not always, but we're often saying thank you, thank you, thank you. But we're talking about now doing it consciously and conscientiously 3 times a day. And if you're really good, put it in your journal. Say, oh, I did 3 times today, consciously, conscientiously, and get in the habit of putting in your journal. And you'll see after about 11 days, sometimes 21, sometimes 30 to 60, depends on the person, you'll start saying, wow, this is cool. And you will notice benefits for you. You'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Remember, it's the most listened to radio frequency in the world is WIIFM. You know where that originates, right, Beck?
No.
WIIFM. What's in it for me? Well, what's in it for you if you start saying thank you consciously and conscientiously, is you will be happier, healthier, and wealthier. I guarantee it, or your money back. Double your money back. Okay, let's go into now the next practical thing that you can do, which is going to really shift your world. It's going to rock your world. You're going to say, wow, you're going to run through your house naked shouting, yay, Barry. Okay, you can just say, yay, Barry. You don't have to do that. And that is learn to love dog poop. Did Barry Shaw just say dog poop? Now, if you're watching this, you got to see Beck's face. But if you're not, you can imagine. Learn to love dog food. Okay, sure. What's that all about? Well, remember we talked about internalizing and utilizing, leveraging the 6 most important words in the English language, right? Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Dog poop is an amazing acronym that stands for doing of good, power of one person. Okay. You said it before, Beck. People don't think they can choose. Once you understand that you, as the individual, make a difference. I talk about going mad regularly. I've been blessed to speak. Recently, I spoke to a group of 1,176 people. No masks, people hugging, lots of energy. It was great. I talk about learning to love dog poop. And people are laughing and applauding. And I asked, are you all mad? They looked at me and say, well, what is that? Do you understand you make a difference in the world? People say, yeah. Do people really believe it? Well, if you use self-talk, you will. You use the formula that Barry Shaw provides. When you understand the power of one person, you, and you're doing of good consciously and conscientiously, then you're going to create a river of goodness in the world. That river is going to turn into a stream. That stream is going to turn into a lake. That lake may feed into the ocean. That ocean is going to create a tsunami of goodness around the world. One person reaching out to another, one person at a time. So now, when you get off this podcast and people say, well, what was that all about? I said, this guy's crazy. He wants me to love dog poop. You tell that to your friend, they'll say, what are you talking about? Well, actually, it makes good sense. It stands for doing of good, power of one person. You'll start laughing. Now you can talk about all the things we discussed. about seeing miracles in life every day, or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. WWW, what a wonderful world. Create, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Joy, journey of you, because you're the one who makes a difference. You. This show is about you. That's why Beck is investing her time. That's why I'm investing my time for you, becoming you, the best you possible. When you do that, you make the world a better place. It's called shift. You got to be careful with that F. Careful with your F and Fs. And then learn to love dog poop. I like that one, Beck.
I did not see that one coming, Barry. You're always full of surprises. Well, you know what? One thing that I did that is like classic Barry that you have not done this whole time is usually you talk about love.
Okay, well, let's talk about love. Remember the 4 animating principles of life. Well, let's discuss this for a moment. Everybody knows, I think they know about DNA, right? Everybody's heard of it. You know, it was only discovered 60, 70 years ago. But DNA is every single human being has only 4 elements of DNA. They're 4 enzymes, we call them. 4 in every single human being in the history of the world. And right now we have 8+ billion people in the world. That's on the physical level. On the spiritual level, you have DNA. Those 4 elements in DNA in the spiritual level are joy, happiness, peace, and love. Now, love is a great acronym that stands for living on vibrant energy. Living on the vibrational plane. When you are in the vibrational plane, you're no longer stuck. You have choice. You're liberated. You're able to think and respond and live in this world on a higher self plane, this plane of self-talk. And remember, talk stands for teaching always love and kindness to yourself. There is nothing more powerful, no more purposeful, no more pleasant in the world than you. When you do that, now you radiate love.
What you had put something on, I think it was LinkedIn, and you were talking about how I think you were making tea, and you were talking about how your wife cuts your tea bag open because you struggle to do that. And you're like, this is love right here. When she knows that I need this cut open because I can't rip it open. And I just thought that was so sweet.
Oh, let's talk about that again, because to me is one of the most remarkable aspects of love. Truly loving beings are looking for opportunity, as you said, to be of benefit, especially to somebody that you love. So in my particular case, those of you who are watching, you can see, well, Barry has hands, but they look kind of interesting. People say arthritic, whatever, but that's because this is a residual of my situation. And if you're watching this, you'll see that I can't get up from my chair. I'm still paralyzed from the waist down, basically. You know, everybody else can just sit up. I can push on the arms and all this sort of stuff. Okay. So my fingers don't work like yours do. And I can't open up a number of these devices, you know, like in this case, it's this wonderful herbal tea that my wife likes me to have. And I can't open the container. It's nice, but for regular people, not for me. So I didn't ask her to. She cuts the top. And this is every day, by the way, not once in a while. Every day, she cuts the top. And I can barely get the tea bag out. And if I can't, I blow on it to open it up a little bit, and I'll use my teeth or something. But it's because she liberated the tea bag back. She enabled me to experience love. I'm going to share with you one more, because we're in you live in New England. Yes. I come from New England. And I know people listening all over the world. Right now, New England is in the wintertime. I don't know when this is going to be broadcast, but right now we're in the wintertime. And when you go outside, as I do on a regular basis, early in the morning, around 6 a.m. in the morning, it's cold enough to wear gloves. right? And if you don't, you're dumb. And if you do, you're smart and you protect it. So I happen to enjoy my gloves. I live in a place called Henderson, Nevada, middle of the desert. But in the wintertime, it gets cold enough to wear gloves, thank God. And I realized, well, looking at my gloves the other day, and I started laughing. I said, I'm laughing out loud. And I said to myself, so why are you laughing? I said, because I've been wearing gloves for decades. Decades, Beck. And I looked at the glove and realized glove is spelled Gloves. I said, wow, look at that. The middle four letters of glove spell love. And it's surrounded by a G and an S. G for gratitude and S for either sensitivity or serenity. But the point is that what are the gloves doing? They are especially, they're designed to say, I love you. I'm keeping you warm. That's the essence of gloves. And who thinks like that? Well, when you get up on that vibrational plane and I'm sharing with everybody, you're all going to now, you're never going to look at a pair of gloves again the same way, right? That's called shift. You shift right. Your perspective.
You're right. I have never thought of gloves like that. Well, so people can assume that if they join your community, $10 a month, that they're going to get a lot of acronyms, gratitude, love, and shift.
Piles of shift.
Dog shift.
Yeah, dog shift. And what does shift stand for? What does O shift stand for? O is OH, openly happy. Shift stands for something happening inside, facilitating transformation.
Oh, you've got a lot of these.
That's what O shift's about. Wow.
So they can find you on your website, barryshore.com, where they can find your books, your free downloads, but they can also the cards that you referenced before.
Yes, okay. People, if you can and want to, you should. I urge everybody. We started the Keep Smiling movement almost more than 20 years ago. And I'm happy to tell you that more than 4 million Keep Smiling and inspirational cards will be given out around the world for free. Now the cards are free. You pay postage because that's the post office. But cards are free. Order them. Go on the website, barryshore.com, and at the top it says share a smile, and order cards, physical cards if you want. And even something now, it's really happening, Beck, and it's very big. God willing, we'll hit 10 million cards this year. People can go on and click and send out the cards electronically to people all over the world for absolutely free. Free is a wonderful 4-letter word. I love 4-letter words beginning with F. It's free. You can send cards 5 at a time. And I urge people, do it twice a week. Do it on Monday, do it on Thursday, Monday because it's Monday, Thursday because the weekend is coming. Send 5 cards to people, to friends, and then urge your friends to send because it's free. It's easy. It's wonderful. When you see the cards, which really Keep Smiling, and many, many famous celebrities and people like that have done it. But that's not the reason to do it. Do it because you want to touch other people. You want to share love. You want to be the glove. You want to be that person that is recognizing, you say, we have a great card like the one we mentioned. Everybody you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. The other side is be kind always. Great card. There's a card that reads, did I tell you today how much I appreciate you? Beck, did I tell you today how much I appreciate you? I appreciate you. Send that card to people and they will be touched and you'll be touched and you want to just keep doing it and you'll tell your family and friends, let's just do this. It's free.
And there's also information on your website on how to join that community that you've referenced.
Yes. Right? Yes. Yes, everybody join. Join, by the way, is spelled Joyn. Joyn. Join.
Another acronym.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this has been really fun. I'm so glad that we had you on. I'm sure that the editor is going to be a little bit miffed with how long we've spent together, but they should know when we get together, we're going to keep talking. We could do this for hours.
I mean, we're above space and time. Come on.
Thank you so much for your time today. And I hope people go to your website,
Well, let's do two
Veryco.com.
things. Let's do two things we made.
Yes.
Well, let's do a hug for you and me, but for everybody, all the thousands and tens of thousands of people that are listening. I'll tell you what hug stands for, and then we'll do a quick blessing. Are you ready?
Yes.
So hug stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. So on the count of three, wonderful Beck. 1, 2, 3.
I felt that from him.
And
I
our
felt that.
blessing from Barry and Beck is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad, go make a difference.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Intuition Unleashed. We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. But before you go, we have a little challenge for you. Most of us have sneaky little habits that hold us back and trip us up, so why not take this not at all uncomfortable quiz to find out what you do to derail yourself from achieving your goals and how you can call yourself on your own BS. Get to know your self-sabotage specialty and take the first step towards getting out of the way of your own success. Just visit becknelson.com/quiz and take the quiz now. That's becknelson.com/quiz. We can't wait to see your results. And as always, we'll be back next week with more Intuition Unleashed. Thanks for listening.